raise their children and have a fruitful marriage, which is all good for our church. I am recommending that that they be started at Nativity Parish because we don't have a good formal program for that. And I would encourage you, as you hear the story, to do the same with your pastors. That this can be extremely meaningful, and the pastor doesn't have to do much at all, which you'll learn. So I think Charley will tell us about the process that could happen, but it's a really important ministry and one that I think we should be aware of. We also have the chair of the board here, Mary Hodgson. Thank you for being with us. Her husband, Kurt, is chair at the Trio, and both of them have done great work in Catholic organizations. So, Charley Bielejeski, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you for having me. My name is Charley Bielejeski. As Jerry said, I am the executive director at the CANA Family Institute. Just got my 1 year mark under my belt not too long ago. I come from a family of 11. We attended the Church of St. Paul up in Ham Lake, so I'm very familiar with charismatic prayer and worship and the essential need for relationship with God. I'm here to tell you today about the CANA Family Institute, but I also want to give a little bit of insight into marriage and family today and how that can positively or negatively impact a priest, a religious, or any type of orders out there. So that's kind of the shift that we're going through today. So our mission, we partner with Catholic parish, school, and diocesan leaders to design content and implement an integrated marriage and family life ministry. It is intended to engage and transform the family for Christ and His church. A lot of big words, a lot of awesome words, a lot of words you're very familiar with. I'm going to continue to break this down as we go through. One of the core things that we do, if you're going to take anything away, I'm going to try to say this at least 7 times so you can keep a tally on it. We want to help parents to discover their purpose, both as a spouse, as a parent, as a disciple of Jesus. We want to help them find connection in their parish communities, in their friend groups, in their peers, wherever that may be, and we want to help them live their faith. So discover purpose, find connection, and live faith. We do this through accompaniment, so we have trainers and volunteers who walk with our small group leaders, who encourage them and their families, who check in on them to see how they're doing, who essentially disciple our facilitators so that they can disciple their groups. We have leadership development, which is similar to training, but we focus more on the spiritual formation aspect of our individuals. So from the top down, I go through formation in a less formal way than this. Our staff goes through formation, our trainers have formation, our facilitators have formation, and then the participants have formation. There's then the passing on and the encouragement of what to do with their family and their children each and every meeting that they have. We have an enlightening curriculum, so we have a 4-year small group series, 1 for men, 1 for women. They walk through it, we go through the Gospels, we pray through the Catechism, and we read through the encyclicals from JP2's teaching on marriage and family every single lesson. So when they're done with their entire 4 years, they will have read through everything in the Catechism on marriage and family. They will have read through almost all of the Gospels, and they will have read more encyclicals than 1% of Catholics, or 99% of Catholics. Not 1%, more than 99% of Catholics. The reason CANA Family was formed is back in 2012, there was a number of surveys that were done. This has only gone to prove our point. 72% of parishes nationwide reported they don't have any type of substantive marriage ministry. They might have an occasional marriage dinner, they might have a small group that's married couples, but the content is more Christian discipleship than it is on your marriage itself or marriage and family. 72%. I come from the Save the Youth generation. So for me, I grew up in a lot of money and energy and excitement in youth ministry, which was great. I came from a great family. I had a great youth experience. Since 1980, there has been $43 billion invested in youth ministry in the church. That's an astronomical amount of money, and it's beautiful, and it's done great work. But on the flip side, there's been less than $3 billion put into marriage and family ministry. As we'll get to later, Home, marriage, family is where parents become the primary educators of their children in the faith. They are the primary evangelists, disciples, teachers of everything as it relates to Catholicism and the faith. So it goes without saying, over the past half century, marriage and family has been under attack and on a severe decline. There's been an intentional disintegration of the family. There is more divorce than ever before. Even in the Catholic Church, we're not perfect. It's at 48% divorce rate in the Catholic Church right now, which is 2% better than the nationwide average. Still nothing to be proud of. The people who started CANA really saw the lack of marriage and family ministry and they wanted to provide something for people. This is a quote that I read about every other week, so I don't have it memorized, but I'm going to read it verbatim. No other conceivable causal influence, not head clergy, not youth ministries, youth programs, mission service trips, religious school, or religious peers, comes remotely close to matching the influence of parents on the religious faith and practices of youth. This is our favorite quote. JP2 is one of our patrons. We love him dearly. We love his work. As the family grows, so goes the nation, and so goes the whole world in which we live. So if you look back to the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, as marriage started to come under attack, you also saw the decline in our Christian civilization. And you saw a steady and rapid decline in marriage and family. And then you saw an increase in immorality and promiscuity and a number of things, or the rise of atheism per se. 54% of children reach their 17th birthday without a married mother or father in the home. If you're a child and you're trying to learn about your faith and what this is about, and you're trying to understand, and you only have one parent to look to, which is not what God intended, which is not what our bodies were intended for, the odds of your success fall off. Your success in life, your success in school, your success in your faith, anything. To hit home and to tie together a little bit of your mission to pray for priests, 75% of priests in 2023 that were ordained came from an unbroken family, where their parents practiced the faith in the home. They spoke openly about prayer, they prayed rosary, they had daily devotions, they went to mass all together, they had family meals, they prayed together. 75%. So that means 25% are coming from broken homes, homes where they didn't have both mom and dad for a variety of reasons. If we're going to help elevate our clergy, both now and moving forward, it's actually going to start in the home. Children who see their parents loving one another, living their faith out on a daily basis, is going to provide a boost into registration numbers for seminary, into religious vocations. And we're starting to see a turn in that today. And it's beautiful. My goal is to have this impact for generations to come, not just for the next couple of years, but for the rest of my lifetime, my kids' lifetime, and their kids' lifetime. I forgot to mention, I have two beautiful children, Lucy and Mateo, they're 3 and 1. I love them dearly. I didn't put any pictures of them in here because they're too distracting for me. So family is the first school of faith. Parents have, this is from the Catechism, parents have the first responsibility for education of their children. I went and called 10 people who have grown up in good Catholic homes, come from good families, attended Catholic school. None of them have ever read that sentence before. They are parents of anywhere from 5 to 10 years. None of them knew that their first responsibility is education of their children. That's not to say that they might have heard it on an engagement retreat or something along the way, but they said they've never read it. So parents bear witness to this responsibility by first creating a home where tenderness, forgiveness, respect, fidelity, disinterested service are the rule. Those are all traits of a disciple of Jesus. We target parents of young children. And the reason is they're open, they're looking for something, they just entered a new stage of life, they're 3-year-old, like mine, starting to ask questions about Mass. Why do we do this? Why do we say that? Why are we standing up? Why is the priest bald? Why, right? And parents are wanting to be able to have answers. And some of them have some of them have none. So there's opportunity there. There's an urgency there, and I'll show you why in this next slide. Young adult survey who left the church said they left at the median age of 13. So, youth ministry is beautiful and it's awesome. But it might be too late. By the time they're hitting 13 years old, they've made up their mind that they don't want to be a part of this, or that they do. So, approaching young parents gives us an opportunity to change that narrative. And it even says, supporting the Catechism, education in the faith by parents should begin in the child's earliest years. Parents have the mission of teaching their children to pray, to discover their vocation as children of God. And that vocation as a child of God means relationship with Him, which leads to openness to religious life, to priesthood, to whatever call to marriage, whatever call that they have. There's now begins now openness there. I've talked a little bit about why marriage and family is important in our world today. I'm going to talk a little less intensely about how CANA works. So we have three main facets right now. We have our small groups, we have retreats, and we have events. Our small group series is simple. Each year there's 15 lessons that a group gets brought together for. They go through the gospel, the catechism, and encyclicals. They share personal life, they have encouragement. That's kind of our small group series. One of the things that I'm most proud of is out of our graduates, 80% of them continue meeting post-graduation. So they go and find other content, other things, but they continue to meet, they continue to lean on each other for support. Our Lady of Grace has an entire section of their church at 9 a.m. Mass and CANA families. And they made that decision. We are going to do this. And it's noisy and bubbly and there's life and it's awesome. If you ever want to go to 9 o'clock Mass, look at the left section on the altar or just listen for it. Either way. The other thing that we offer is retreats. And so we do retreats for women right now, a mornings of reflection and Advent. That is a time for them to kind of escape the chaos and busyness pre-Christmas, to recenter on who they are as a daughter of God and be able to take that back with them, refocus on the true meaning of Christmas. This year we're actually starting, we did a trial run a couple years ago, and we're bringing it back. We're doing a couples workshop in Lent. So our goal is to do Christian relationship skills, to have faith formation involved, to have an entire workshop day for couples to come together, work through things hands-on with professional therapists and different things, and also hear more about the truth of the church and what they're teaching. The last thing is events. Events, some people are like, oh, you do huge seminars and conferences, and we like to, but it's not so much about that. Our events, we have training night every month for our smaller leaders. Those are our most important events. They come together, engage with smaller leaders from all around the Archdiocese. They have a trainer or two who's walking with them, accompanying them, encouraging them. They're learning the material, they're learning how to lead a small group, they're learning how to lead their faith, they're learning how to engage their small group members and their families. So those are the events that we put on. At this time, we're having conversations with our wonderful Archdiocese now about how we can become more involved in their post-marriage ministry. So people get married, they have a newly married retreat, that's about it. So what can we do to help them move forward? This is called the CANA Circle. A lot of people have different ways to kind of look at this. It can also be known as the missionary life cycle. It could be the discipleship circle, whatever you want, but it all starts with invitation. So our staff will meet with parishes, will train them on this circle. The parish staff will then go and invite people into small groups where they can then discover the Catholic Church's teaching. They can value important relationships with God, their spouse, their family, and their friends. They can begin to live in a way that is transformative to their marriage and also their children. And then they get to transmit that into their parishes, their communities, but most importantly, their homes. So the CANA, we call it the CANA experience, is our current small group model. It's a 4-year formation series, going through small groups, authentically Catholic. At the end of every lesson, there is a call to action. So this is where it's really designed towards parents and young children. The call to action would be as simple as read the gospel every day, the upcoming Sunday's gospel every day with your family. Talk through it, have the kids ask questions about whatever, have them listen during Mass for certain key words, because then the kids actually pay attention for more than 5 seconds. Lucy, my daughter, loves a part of Mass where they're praying through the Litany of Saints and we get to St. Lucy. She goes, oh, it's me. But got some ways to go there, my beautiful daughter. And then the community of peers for support. So in today's world, isolation, loneliness, especially post-COVID, we're kind of coming out of that. But a lot of people haven't learned how to get back to normal as in engaging in intentional relationships. It's become more transactional than ever, more convenient focused than ever. This is pulling people out of that mindset. And it's saying, no, there are other people out there who need your help just as much as you need theirs. They need your support, your guidance, your wisdom. Even if you don't think you have it, they need it. And so that is what we're trying to do through the CANA program. This, I'm not going to talk too much about it. These are what each of the 4 programs are called for the women and for the men. You can see with women, they're called motherhood, so focus on being a mom. They're called marriage, so focus on being a good spouse, prayer, relationship with Jesus, and then call to act is the going out into community, the evangelization, the missionary discipleship side of things. Very similar for the men. We couldn't start with protector because most men don't want to come in and talk about how macho they think they are protecting their families, but they will very willingly talk about their work and what they do for work. And then we get to take them through an encyclical that actually shifts their mindset on what the importance of work is. It's not making money, it's not status and esteem and all these things. It's actually a greater call for sanctification. So those are what they go through. One of the things I didn't put on here, because it's a little less popular at the time right now, we do have a temperament study program based on the book, The Temperament God Gave You. Couples can do that together, you can do it as men or as women. It's really effective when parishes are launching CANA because it gives people a shorter time period, a little more digestible material to be able to grasp onto and say, yeah, I like this, I want to know more. It can also help with kind of the function and layout of a small group so you understand people's dynamics a little better. Oh, you're saying that you like to talk a lot. You are not, you're melancholic, you're very reserved and quiet. How can we navigate around this so it's not a dominating one-on-one conversation? This is from one of our parish staff members. It is so refreshing to be working with a group who supports me. I don't need to figure out how to train and enter a small group facilitator of my own. I have confidence and tools to engage young families. So one of the biggest selling points, if you want to call it that, one of the biggest bonus factors that priests are telling us today is I have very minimal involvement, aside from talking about it at an occasional homily or a mass. My staff has very little work to do besides making invitations after church and then sending out the marketing emails, which we provide all that for. It's like we're paying for a ministry that comes in and does 85% of the work. And that's our goal, is we don't want to increase pressure on already overswamped priests. What we want to do is decrease pressure, build up a core group of families in the parish that after their 4 years, the pastor's looking down and saying, I'm so happy I have these people. And can we get more? Can we help form more? And it begins to alleviate the worry and concern that many priests have of, I can't do everything, and I can't disciple every family, and I wish that I could, but I can't. So our impact, this is current day with 26 partners between the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis, Archdiocese of Cincinnati, and the Archdiocese of Dallas and Houston. Partners can be parishes, Catholic parishes, or Catholic schools. So we're partnering with Providence, we're partnering with Ave Maria Academy. Some parishes use this as a bridge, crossover between the parish and the school, because many of their school parents don't attend church at their church. And so they're starting to bring them in and form community there, and we're seeing a lot of parents start to change where they attend Mass regularly. We've impacted over 30,000 families in our lifetime. That goes from retreats to leadership events to small groups. So we're having a tremendous impact on the community. To date, we have 750 participants actively in the program. So these are people in small groups who are meeting regularly, going through. This number is going to probably grow by about another 100 or so in the next 2 weeks because groups just launched. And some people are more worried about getting their kids in school than having them in a small group program. So we let them offer with this. Going through the program, over 90% of our participants became more committed to the church, to the teachings on family life, to the teachings on contraception, to the teachings on just faith in general. 90% are more involved in parish and school ministries, and they're committed to sharing their faith. Now, when I say committed to sharing their faith, it's not like, oh, if someone holds a gun in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm Catholic. It's not that. It's the willingness to step out to correct someone who's living in falsehood and not in truth. It's the willingness to go to their home and teach their children how to have a relationship with God and how to pray. It's the willingness to go into their parish, the people who show up to Easter and Christmas and maybe one other Mass that they find convenient, and to invite them into a regular Sunday Mass or coming to weekly Mass. It's not just, I'm willing to share it if absolutely necessary. It's I'm being proactive, and I'm going out into my community, and I'm sharing the faith and the beautiful things that I have learned through the Catechism, the Gospel, and what CANA is offering. 90% are more dedicated to studying time and prayer. For those of you who pray, which I hope and pray that all of you understand the importance of prayer and the importance of relationship with Jesus. So 90% of our people are coming out and saying, I am praying daily, and I'm committed to that. We don't have the number, but I would assume it's very close to how many of them are praying daily with their families now, because that's something that we really encourage. We'll have to do another survey to kind of get that information. Openness to life. So the men's program is called Reigning in Life. The men in the OLG group that just graduated this last year had combined 9 kids in their 4 years of marriage, or in their 4 years of CANA, that weren't expecting to have additional children at the time, or thinking about that, or whatever the case may be. We're seeing a boost in family size around year 2 and 3 of the CANA program. And it's not just because they're young parents. It's because they're reading the fullness and beauty of what they're called to. They're excited about it. They feel equipped to be able to handle another child, or 2 or 3, or the people who had quadruplets in Texas a couple weeks ago. Like, God bless them. But they're ready for life, and there's beauty in that. Because the more children that they're able to have and are able to bring into the faith, the greater the impact that they're going to have in the world moving forward. And then ultimately, 90% are more supportive of their children choosing religious vocations. So parents who have 13, 14, 15-year-old who their entire lives are like, college is the way for you, go and do this, get your career, go and do this, are now saying, actually, let's go to a seminary visit. Let's go and meet with the handmaids. Let's have these conversations, because it might be what God's calling you to, and I'm not going to determine my child's future for them. I'm going to help craft an openness to the Holy Spirit and what the Holy Spirit has for their life. So going back to this, hitting home, 75% of priests come from unbroken families. So if you're going to focus on a key area, we're going to focus on marriage and family, strengthening marriage, strengthening children, renewing the home, giving them the tools and the community, giving them purpose, connection, and faith. How can you help? First and foremost, please pray for our mission. You are all prayer warriors here. It's one of the reasons why I'm part of the Serra Club. Please pray for CANA, pray for marriage and family in our diocese and in the world. Add them to your list, even if it's just at the very end. And pray for Catholic Institute. That's fine. Prayer works. I know how important it is. Share the need. So if you are looking at your parish and you're seeing a need that your young families have, or that parents have in general, for more concrete formation, for more connection, community, purpose, if you're seeing that, connect with our staff. There's a whole process that I don't want to dive too deep into, but we have a discovery process to determine if we're a good fit for you, if you're a good fit for us, because we want your parish to be successful. We want to use things wisely. We want to use our time, your parents' time wisely. And we want to see a great impact in the world. And then lastly, financial support. It's not free to do all the things that we do. I wish it was. It would be glorious. Maybe one day money won't matter, but for now, it matters a lot. If you want to give, you can connect with me, or you can go to our website. There's multiple different things. We're in a period of shifting forward and trying to expand our content. So I was telling John this earlier. Right now, our target audience is parents of young children. I would love to be able to develop content for parents who children are trying to leave the faith, or for parents who are becoming empty nesters for the first time, for grandparents who are becoming grandparents for the first time. How do you navigate the give and take of, well, I want to tell my kid what to do, but I need to love them more than tell them what to do. So how do I do that? How do I still pass on the faith to the grandkids if they aren't attending Mass? What do these things look like? So we want to be able to provide more impact for not just a certain small target, but for people in every stage of their marriage. That's my information. If you want, you can take a picture of it, or I can email it to John and he can get it out. That might also be the best, most effective way. If you're looking to bring CANA to your parish, you can also reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with our staff who are here local on the ground, who are running all these events and retreats and leadership of small groups get started. Happy to do all those things. Again, thank you for letting me share more about marriage and family and the CANA Family Institute. I am now available for questions. I think we still have time, so ask away. If I don't know, I'll try to find them.
Surely a quick history on CANA family, I don't know how it developed or
Yes, so,
when that started.
yeah, how it started. Are any of you familiar with Familia? Yes, so Familia was born out of Regnum Christi as a marriage and family ministry, small group ministry. When the Legionnaires went through their stuff in 2008, 2012, Regnum Christi basically squashed Familia. And there were thousands of families in the program who were left with nothing, who just felt kind of abandoned. So there were some families that came forward to the Legion and to Regnum Christi and said, hey, can we buy all of your content? And we're going to start our own thing. We're going to put it underneath the Archdiocese, and we're going to make this as impactful as possible. So they took that content, they revised a ton of it, they put it under the Archdiocese supervision, so we have an imprimatur on all our materials to make sure that we're all good to go. We have no current connection with Regnum Christi or the Legion. We are our own entity. We believe strongly in partnership with the church, so archdioceses and parishes. If they don't want us here, we will pack up our bags and leave. So we started officially in 2012 as the CANA Family Institute, and that's how we operate since.
Is there a cost to the parish to this?
Yes, so our standard cost is $3,000 a year. That gets you the staff support, the marketing materials that you need, and then training for your facilitators. So that covers everything. So Father Brian Park said, well, I'm paying $3,000 for them to pay a staff member to help my parish do all the things that we're trying to do, so I don't have to burden my staff. Sounds like a great deal. I don't have to pay benefits, I don't have to hire, I don't have to do all these other things. So there is that, but we truly do care about providing a quality program experience for people, and that's why there is a fee. There are others who don't accompany, who don't train your small group leaders that are cheaper or free. Beautiful ministries that they have, I love them to death, but for us, we just believe that accompaniment and walking with parishes is the way to go. We're not going to drop ship you a marriage program and walk out with a check. So that is that.
Is that next program called Training?
Reigning in life. Yep.
Charlie, one of the things that I really appreciate is the accountability for participants. You talk a little bit about that?
Yes.
Training as well as the 4-year, all that is all happens.
Yeah, so when someone signs up, they do have the option to just make a decision at the end of the year if they're going to come back or not. The way we do the discipleship model, so we have trainers who are our volunteer team who are walking with our small group leaders that we call facilitators. Those trainers, in part of checking in and committing and seeing how they're doing, are also encouraging, are motivating them, and they're calling them out on some things like, oh, well, we didn't really get through the materials last time. It was more just a fun thing where we talked about sports. They'll call them out on that and they say, actually, it's really important to get through this. How can we navigate that back so you can still keep pace with everything, and how can we do this to make it go? My generation is struggling with, we love quick and fast, but quick and fast is rarely ever good or sustainable or long-term impactful, transformative. The reason we stick with the 4-year program is because we believe that transformation takes time, discipleship takes time, relationship with Jesus takes time. We're not going to promise this immediate fix. So for someone to get the most out of our program and what we're trying to do, it is, you're committing to 4 years, life happens, some people need to stop and do things. You're committing to 4 years of pursuing transformative growth for yourself, for your marriage, and for your family. And that in turn will renew the culture and the world around you. So if that answers your question, a little bit on the accountability side of things.
And there's also some fee to the participants, right?
Yes, so participants pay a fee, so it's $85 a year. For those of you familiar with Netflix, that's about 4 months worth of Netflix dollars in that. But part of what they're paying for is they do get a book, so they get a workbook and a study that has all the materials provided for them. They get a trained small group leader, and the parish typically will provide a space for them to meet. Some parishes are awesome, they provide free childcare, bless all of you who have that. Others don't, so it gets a little shiftier and tighter. In the event of emergencies or financial trouble, we do have scholarships available for people to offset those costs. So, but we found giving it to participants for free, they don't have any skin in the game. And so then their idea of like, well, if I miss this one, it's fine, and then they miss 1, 2, 3, and 4, and eventually they're like, well, now it's awkward if I come back, so I'm just going to be done and slide off into the distance. When they have any amount of money in the game, they're willing to step up, they're willing to show up continuously. For those of you who don't know Planet Fitness's business model, it's not how many people do we have in the gym, it's how many memberships do we have at cost low enough where they're viewing the time to drive it and cancel it as less than $10 a month. So their goal is to have as many people sign up and say yes, even though they might never go to the gym, but they only allow you to cancel in person. And so people are so, unfortunately, so lazy in today's society, they're like, wow, it's just $10 and it's like 20 minutes to get there, and I probably got to talk to the guy for 20 minutes, and 20 minutes back. It's not worth my time to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow turns into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 months. So skin in the game is really important, just from a psychological perspective, to stay accountable and stay true to what you're committed to. Any other questions? Yes.
So what's the time commitment for the family group?
The time commitment per family. So groups meet every other week. Outside of group, you're expected to do homework. So you're expected to read through the upcoming lessons so that you're not all sitting there for 30 minutes trying to cram in encyclical, catechism, and the gospel reflection. So you do have to come prepared. That's the encouragement that you have. Sometimes people can't do that. There's mercy and grace in all things. To get through a lesson, if you spread it out, you can do it in 4 15-minute chunks and feel well equipped to converse and talk through it. If you want to really dive in, you can spend as much time with JP2 as you want. But yeah, so it's about an hour a week to prepare for the upcoming lesson, and then the actual small group is anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours long, depending on what the group leader determines is best in that scenario. And that's every other week, just during the school year, typically.
Now, how long have you been with that? Started in 2012,
CANA, yes, 2012 is when CANA came to be.
and you've been involved all that?
No, I have not. So Janine Backstrom was the original executive director. Then Joe Masick was the executive director for a number of years. I just started as the executive director a year ago. Before that, I was the national outreach director, so I was responsible for growth and implementation of the mission. So I've been here for just over 2 years at CANA. I was in Net Ministries for a number of years. I worked for SPO for a couple of years. I love nonprofit work. I love marriage and family more than I do youth. That's just me. I think it's the root cause of some of our problems in the world today, and that's why I'm here to address it. Awesome. Thank you. One more?
Another question, another mention, and this is not bragging. We've never done this before, and that is, we've agreed to pay that $3,000 if the 50 will give this program a shot. We think it is crucial, and in talking to young families with children in the parish, they want this stuff. You really need the help.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Charlie.